A very successful lawyer parked his brand new Lexus in front of the office, ready to show it off to his colleagues. As he got out, a truck came along too close to the curb and completely tore off the driver's door. Fortunately, a police officer was close enough to see the accident and pulled up behind the Lexus, his lights flashing. But before the policeman had a chance to ask any questions, the lawyer started screaming hysterically about how his Lexus, which he had just picked up the day before, was now completely ruined and would never be the same, no matter how the body shop tried to make it new again. After the lawyer finally wound down from his rant, the policeman shook his head in disgust and disbelief. "I can't believe how materialistic you are," he said. "You are so focused on your possessions that you neglect the most important things in life." "How can you say such a thing?" asked the lawyer. The policeman replied, "Don't you even realise that your left arm is missing? It got ripped off when the truck hit you." "Oh no!" screamed the lawyer. "My Rolex!" This fictitious man, well, hopefully fictitious, was so distracted by the things that mean so little in life that he lost his focus on the things that mean so much. We are surrounded by so many distractions. There are countless things which can divert our attention away from the things that deserve our focus. Have you ever missed your junction on the motorway because you were too distracted listening to the radio? Or bumped into someone whilst out walking because you were too distracted by your phone? Or never reached the end of your to-do list because you kept getting distracted by other things? Whether you were the kid at school who was forever staring out of the window, or the adult who can't help but scroll through social media every time you pick up your phone, we can all easily let distractions become our focus. But we are not alone. In Luke 10, verses 38 to 42, we read this. "Now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a certain village, where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, 'Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me.' But the Lord answered her, 'Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her.'" For the activists and go-getters amongst you, perhaps this story jars a little bit. You're thinking, but there are tasks that need doing. There are meals that need to be prepared, jobs to be done. We can't all sit around and do nothing. I can feel the frustration of Martha. And in this story and in our lives, not all distractions are bad, many are good. Social media, entertainment, conversations can all be good in their own time, when we have control over their influence on us, rather than when we allow them to intrude into our lives. But in Martha's case, she isn't distracted from sitting at Jesus' feet because she's scrolling through Instagram, or flicking through Netflix, or having a chat at the coffee machine. Martha is distracted by being hospitable to the Son of God. If Jesus turned up at your door, you would at least get out your finest china and seek out your secret supply of posh biscuits, wouldn't you? But through the pursuit of doing the right thing, Martha was distracted from the one thing. That one thing being sitting in the presence of Jesus. I would suggest there is no church or Christian who at some point has not been guilty of majoring on the minor things and minoring on the major things. At times we have lost our focus on Christ and been distracted by tradition, by appearance, and by conformity. Service, duty, and religion have distracted us from the person of Jesus. I say this not to condemn us, but just to recognise how easy it is to lose our focus of the one thing. But Jesus says to us all, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." As Jesus says to Martha, he also says to us today, my child, you are worried and distracted by many things." Do these words resonate with you? Our minds may be full of so many worries. Worries about our world, worries about our loved ones, worries about our health, worries about our responsibilities. For very good, honourable reasons we worry, because we want the very best for ourselves and for others. But when those worries overwhelm us and distract our focus, Jesus says there is need of only one thing. And that one thing is what Mary chooses: to sit at the Lord's feet and listen to his voice. Satan wants us to be fearful, concerned, and distracted. He will do anything he can to take our focus away from Jesus. Satan knows that when we are distracted from Jesus, we are most vulnerable to sin and to darkness. And so Satan knows that when we focus our minds on Christ, his power over us is gone. From claiming they've kicked their football into your garden, to wanting you to help look for their lost cat, to asking for a drink, distraction burglars seek to divert your attention so that they can steal from you. And this is what Satan seeks to do also. If he can distract us from meeting together for worship, or distract us from spending time looking at God's word, or distract us from intentionally seeking God's presence, he can steal so much from us. He can steal the fullness of life which Christ offers us. But it doesn't have to be that way. With God's strength and power, we can keep our eyes focused on the one who offers us glorious freedom, abundant life, and overwhelming joy. Hebrews 12 verse 2 in the Voice paraphrase says this: "Now stay focused on Jesus, who designed and perfected our faith. He endured the cross and ignored the shame of that death because he focused on the joy that was set before him. And now he is seated beside God on the throne, a place of honour." Focus is defined as the centre of interest or activity. So the writer of Hebrews is simply telling us to keep Jesus at the centre. Catholic priest and theologian Henry Nouwen wrote this: "Jesus has to be and become ever more the centre of my life. It is not enough that Jesus is my teacher, my guide, my source of inspiration. It is not even enough that he is my companion on the journey, my friend and my brother. Jesus must become the heart of my heart, the fire of my life, the love of my soul, the bridegroom of my spirit. He must be my only thought, my only concern, my only desire." That is what it is to focus on Jesus. But why would we want to focus on Christ? Because, as Hebrews 12 verse 2 says, Jesus endured the cross and ignored the shame of that death because he focused on the joy that was set before him. When Jesus suffered and died on the cross, he did not let the agony and grief distract him from the focus of fulfilling the will of the Father and redeeming humanity with his love. Jesus' eyes were not distracted by the temptation of self, ease and comfort. He was simply focused on the joy set before him. That is the depth of his love for you. Jesus' focus 2 millennium ago set us free, offered us salvation, and laid before us hope. The greatest way in which we can realise the potential of this freedom, salvation and hope is to turn our eyes to focus on Jesus and choose to let go of the distractions. If there is anyone or anything in this world worthy of our focus, then it can only be Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Take some time now to turn off all the distractions of the world and, like Mary, sit at the Lord's feet and listen to what he is saying. God bless you.